What's up, guys? Long time no see. I haven't made a video in a couple weeks, maybe even a month or so. Pretty much can't really record anything because I'm just waiting for tunes for both the cars. And yeah, I don't have a dyno or anything, so I'm just kind of sitting around waiting for that. The SR20 car is still on its old tune, but it's enough to drive around and break in the motor. So what I think I'm going to do today is take the SR car out for a bit, and I'm just gonna do like a machine check or a walk around. Just try to answer any questions that I get, because I get a lot of DMs and comments and stuff asking about what trans do I run, or you know, what's the engine setup, things like that, how does it fit, you know, the oil pan, just random questions like that. So hopefully this video is kind of a one and done, where I go over anything, and then anything I don't cover you can just put in the comments below and I'll answer that there. So yeah, so I've been working on that car a lot off camera. Nothing really worth showing. It's just a bunch of the boring stuff. You know, the last 5% of every project takes the longest amount of time, and it's just tedious, minor things all over the car. So I'm gonna go to the shop now. We'll fire up the car. It's super dusty. I haven't washed it in a couple of years. It's just been sitting around. So I'm gonna give it a quick wash, and then we're gonna go for a quick spin around the block, and I'll do a walk around of the car itself. So let's get over there. Right, so drove the car around for a bit, tried washing it. It's still pretty dirty. Just all that dust caked in from sitting, and then all the whatever else is on it. Can't really get it off. So here's the car. I guess we'll start with from the front and back. And again, anything I miss or any questions you have, just leave a comment below and I'll try to answer as best as I can. Okay, so pretty standard E36 stuff. M3 front bumper with a lip. Don't remember which lip that is, but you know, they're all pretty much the same, the bigger style ones. And then we have the SR swap. So it is a S14 notch top SR. Just rebuilt it, so it's all stock internals. I have, you know, a stock head gasket. It didn't do a metal one. Only changes I really made were ARP head studs, and it has Tomei 258 cams, I believe. Then other than that is a top mount with a PLM manifold. It's like a ram horn style manifold. Same one you'll see from like Mazworks and stuff. And then that's just T3 with the Pulsar G25 550. So far, you know, I haven't driven it on track or anything, but it's a pretty good sounding turbo. Spools pretty quick, even right now. Just kind of half throttle, 3/4 throttle with the 7-pound spring. Not really getting into too much boost, but it seems to be pretty peppy. So yeah, excited to see how that thing does. Only heard good things about the Pulsar turbos. Right, so radiator, if you were curious, it's not an E36 rad, it's an S14 rad, S14 SR swap rad, I think it is, from Mishimoto. And then that just, I made a cradle. If you can kind of see, I guess you can't. Two like 5/8 stainless bar, and I just, you know, welded the two together, and it goes up to there and up to here. Yeah, other than that, I did all the custom fabrication myself. So I just did an intake pipe, and then the intercooler piping, and the intercooler is the front mount. I did have a mid-mount setup before, but the radiator was just too close, and it was making this hose kind of difficult to make, and it kept popping off and spilling coolant everywhere. So I just decided to put the rad back in more of a stock location and just do the front mount setup. As for the mounts, if you want to keep a bottom mount setup, I recommend you go see like the Hoonigan videos or something where they did an SR swap on one of these, and it's just pretty much a bar from like here down to the factory location, like kind of wraps around, because with the top mount you actually have a lot more space. I'm not sure if I can really show much in there yet, it's kind of tight, but it's pretty much because it's a top mount, there's all that space down there, and it's just a plate on the engine side, a pipe that goes to the top of the factory style mount, and then that's a solid PMC mount, so pretty much straight across. And then the same thing on the other side, again super simple, plate on the engine, bar across, and then it bolts on down to a factory style mount. So yeah, I got the GK Tech swirl pod set up. That works pretty good. For the trans, let me just go from the interior view, I guess. So the trans is BMW. I did, if you look at the little cutout here, I did used to have an SR trans, and the gearing just does not work at all with these cars and the rear end setups you can get. I had a 3.9, which is kind of the highest easily attainable E36 kind of medium case diff ratio. So with the 3.9, it was like ridiculous second gear every track because of how long the gears are. So yeah, stuck with the ZF. When I blew the SR trans up at 400 horsepower. I have the PMC plate here, and that bolts on the ZF trans, obviously. And then from there, I did a custom drive shaft from a local drive shaft shop here. So I just did a K Miata U-joint adapter, because that was kind of the cheapest on the market. It's like 50 bucks. I don't think they sell it individually, but you just email them and they'll sell it to you for like 50, 60 bucks. So got that U-joint adapter. 1310 I think it is, and because it's not two-piece anymore, you need to have the slip somewhere, so I opted to have it in the front, just a slip yoke, and then back to the factory diff. Just measure from flange to flange, and they'll sort you out. Pretty much any drive shaft shop local to you or whatever can do that. As for the power, this setup I don't know. I'm gonna get a dyno soon here. So the last setup was a TD06 bone stock engine, no cams, and that made high 390s, so pretty much 400 at 24 pounds. And that's just a stock motor, pump gas here in Canada. We don't have E-stations really, so that's 94 or 93 octane combined with the AEM meth injection, and that seems to have held out decently. I had to rebuild the motor, so I wouldn't say it's 100% reliable. It's kind of melting the plugs. Setup should be a little more reliable. I'm going to turn the boost down to, let's say, like 15-16 pounds. Still keep the water meth, and that should be good to go. So one of the cool things that I did this year with this car is I got rid of all the factory BMW wiring, and that was thanks to chassis harness. So if you go to chassisharness.com, they have E36 full chassis harnesses. If you're not a fan of wiring, reading schematics and all that, what you can do is actually get the wiring specialties swap engine harness and then do the chassis harness for the chassis side, or just do the wiring specialties engine side to the factory stuff, and you don't have to worry about any sort of wiring other than like fans and stuff like that. So yeah, no factory wiring in this car at all. I got rid of all this fuse box stuff here, just did a factory style connection. They use all factory connectors, so just go straight to your stock stuff and it'll look pretty factory. Or I guess it wouldn't go to your stock stuff if you don't have any stock stuff left. So yeah, chassis harness wiring, no factory wiring at all. They give you a switch panel, so I have windows, hazards, blinkers, starter, ignition, all that stuff. Yeah, tuned on Power FC, Apexi Power FC. I would recommend going something a bit more modern. I just went with the Power FC because it looks cool, kind of like OG drifting kind of vibe, so I just stuck with that. It wasn't too expensive when I ordered it too. It was like $1,000 for the whole thing. D-Jetro, so that's map sensor. I think that's D-Jetro, yeah. Yeah, not much to show in here. Like I said, the wiring's super simplified, so I don't really have anything here. Got the FDF toe plate, just a Recaro pole position. Ignore the huge mess that you see in the background. That's just because I'm just taking this car out now really for the first couple times, so still need to clean the interior and then sort out all this exterior junk. It's kind of super dirty still. So yeah, that's the kind of the engine and drivetrain setup. 3.9 diff, like I mentioned, welded diff. I do have the chase bays hydro paired with the Willwood dual caliper. So it's like an M3 E46 front brake stuff, and then E36 M3 rear brake stuff. And yeah, obviously, you can tell by the wheels, all 5x114 hubs. Don't run adapters or anything. LTW wing back here, and then just a 3-inch straight pipe all the way back. Probably throw a muffler in there. My phone's dying pretty fast. It's like 5%, so I'm gonna try to wrap this up. Power steering, I used to have the factory style, but I feel like it was too close to the turbo stuff, and everything was kind of getting cooked around here. I didn't have anything down here in a lot of space, so I went with the Tark's power steering relocation. It's a company based out of Australia, I believe. And then for the high pressure line, what you're going to want to do is just go to like a hydraulic shop or whatever and measure out, throw some 90s in there, whatever, tell them what you need. I have a buddy that works in a hydraulic shop. He just made this quickly for me for the top mount setup, and now that it's bottom mount, it still works. So just kind of 90s and loops around to the factory rack fitting there. And that's all AN obviously converted. Kept the stock style reservoir just because I like it like that. And then that goes down. So yeah, super simple steering setup. Power steering is kind of just adapted lines. You can go to like any hydraulic shop and get just that single line made, and the rest you can just do yourself. Alright, so this is not full lock, and ignore the corded tires. I do have new ones. So yeah, in here we have the BC racing coilovers, spec'd by Chelsea's Nova. So I think it's 12 front and 10 back. As for the steering setup, I have the kind of OG FDF setup. So it's a bolt-on to the knuckle. I don't think they sell this anymore. They just have full knuckle style, so you can't really get the bolt-on kit engine wear. So yeah, works pretty good. Don't have any complaints. Steers fine. Does what it needs to do. So yeah, won't be changing that. Interior, pretty gutted. Like I said, just this one seat in there for now. I usually run Bolinos, but I have a couple of these left over, so I'm just gonna burn through them. But I run a 265 35 18 in the rear, so pretty much copying the S chassis wheel setups. So you have the 17 in the front, 235 40, and the 18 in the rear, 265 35, and it seems to work pretty good. Yeah, got the gram lights in the rear, 60 cents in the front. So yeah, not really sure what else to mention. Again, if you see something that I skipped, or if you have any specific questions, just shoot a comment down below and I'll try to answer it as fast as I can. Again, this is like a super simple setup. I don't think these swaps are hard at all. Really, any swap in this car is not difficult. I will say one thing, the SRs are getting super expensive these days, so it's not really worth it. But if it's something you want, then just go for it. I'd say it's a fun setup, and the car's super light, so yeah, if you're willing to spend the extra money for an outdated engine, I guess, go for it. The EcoBoosts are also an awesome swap, and there's a company out there that makes full kits for it, so that's a cool option that I wouldn't mind doing if I ever had issues with this. But yeah, other than that, I do have a few other changes that I'd like to make to this thing. The booster setup, you can tell it's huge and bulky. Last time I had this car together, that booster melted, so that's a new one. Definitely gonna do like a Chase Bays one or whatever. Again, yeah, any questions about the car at all, leave a comment down below. Yeah, like, comment, subscribe, the usual. I'll be taking this thing to the dyno soon. The red sedan, again, that's also waiting for a tune. Hopefully it'll be done soon so I can have both cars out and driving. Kind of missing out on this season here. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.